Hello, everybody. It's Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and we are bringing you our second edition of Community Together. And I am so pleased today to have with us Doug Platts and Melissa Strada. I want to welcome you both and thank you for having us, coming and joining us. Today we're going to be talking with a lot of people who are having a lot of questions about the financial assistance that's available to either individuals or small businesses. And so I've invited, today we've got Doug Platts, who's a commercial banker with Citizens Business Bank. And we've got Melissa Strada, who's an investment advisor with Avalon Wealth Management. So both of you, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We hope you're healthy and well and your families are good. So I thought, Melissa, let's start with you because I think there's a lot of things that an individual is potentially waiting for some money. So if you can address that. And I also know there's a $10,000 grant that small businesses can apply for called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And if you could talk about those and share with our community of Conejo Valley what we need to know. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you for having me. Yes, the stimulus packages, we all know we're talking about the $1,200 check for individuals. And what I find most is that people are wondering, am I going to get any of that stimulus money? So for individuals, the stimulus package is a $1,200 check for individuals with an adjusted gross income under $75,000 a year and $150,000 if you are married filing joint. There is a phase out of this. So for those people whose AGI does go over $150,000 for married and $75,000 for individuals, it is a $5 reduction in dollar for dollar for every $100 over that amount. So if you are at $76,000 as an AGI, then you will see an $1,100 check. And you can just double that for married filing joint. The phase out is capped at 198. So if you're over 198 for married and 99,000 for an individual, unfortunately, that is the cap for stimulus checks. There is an additional $500 per child under the age of 17. So what this means is if you have a dependent in the house under the age of 17 that you are claiming, you will get the $500. Unfortunately, it leaves those college students that are 18 out of that stimulus money.
Melissa, does somebody have to apply to that, or will that check just come in the mail? How does an individual know if they're going to get it or not? Do they have to apply?
So it'll either be direct deposited based on the account information that you put on your last tax returns, if that's how you get your normal tax return back, or it'll be mailed out to the address of record based on your tax returns.
And so when should people start expecting checks? Do you know?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
When should people start expecting a check?
That's a great question. We're hoping in the next few weeks that starts coming out, but obviously, it's the government processing it and go through tax returns. So we should probably be expecting those within the next few weeks or so.
Wonderful. That's great.
So the EIDL loan. So for small businesses, to clarify, this is obviously different than what Doug will talk to us about, the paycheck loans that we've been hearing so much about. The EIDL opened on Monday. This is an economic injury disaster loan guaranteed through the SBA. So you can file or submit an application for a possible loan of up to $2 million with a max of 3.75 interest rate attached to it, payable over a period of 30 years. Obviously, this is all dependent on what you're offered through your bank. When you do submit the application through the SBA, there is a box to check in there that says, I would like to be considered for an advancement. Now, this is an up to $10,000 grant that through the SBA, through the stimulus package for small businesses. If that is approved and that you can receive that grant, that does not have to be paid back, even if your business is not approved through the loan, through the bank. So everybody who has had some kind of economic disaster through this virus should be applying for this loan. It is also time sensitive. Again, it opened Monday. We know that the stimulus money is going to go quickly. So like the PPP, it's important to get out in front of it, get your application submitted as soon as possible, and hopefully get as much of that grant money as you can.
Where would somebody find that application?
So that is on the SBA website. Let's see, I have it here that read off to you, and I will send it so that you can post it to your viewers. It's the https, I'm going to call them // COVID-19 relief SBA.gov. So if you go to the SBA, you can even just Google SBA EIDL, and it will take you to the COVID relief page. There is a yellow banner at the top of the page that says apply for EIDL loan. It is very simple. It's a few pages long. You'll need your gross receipts and your cost of goods sold, and then some basic business information, and it's submitted right through the website.
And there's no timing on when, you don't know when people will hear back, right? It's just submitting the application at this point.
So originally Monday through the SBA that the grant should be approved within 3 to 4 business days. You also put in your bank account information within that same application. So if you're approved for the grant, they'll just deposit it into your bank. However, I did spend some time on the phone with SBA yesterday, and because of the influx, obviously, of people calling and applications being submitted, it could take a little bit longer.
Wonderful. Well, great information, obviously, being able to get a loan and also the $10,000 grant and the individual stuff. So thank you. I mean, that's super helpful to a lot of our people out there in Conejo Valley. So Doug, let's move over to what is going on with a lot of small businesses in the Conejo Valley, have a lot of employees, and a lot of small businesses rely on their employees. What is available through the Paycheck Protection Program through the SBA? How can you help us, inform us on that?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Lydia. I'm happy to talk to local business owners because I was one for 35 years and understand the stress right now of what business owners are going through. So in the program that Melissa just very well spelled out, you apply directly to the SBA on the SBA website. This program is different in that you are going to apply through your bank. And so the first thing you need to know about the program is there's been a bunch of misinformation on when it's starting and what is it and how do you qualify and that type of thing. And the reason is because this money was just allocated last Friday. The president signed the bill for $350 billion. And so here, 5-6 days later, that we're still trying to get guidance from the SBA on how to actually apply and be able to get the funds out to you. So here's what we know today. To apply for the Payroll Protection Act, you are going to go to SBA.gov. And the first place you see there is a Payroll Protection Act button that you can hit, and it has the current application, how to apply, who's eligible. So that's a great place to go for a resource. And you should go there. You don't want to go to the U.S. Treasury because this is an SBA program. The SBA is going to guarantee the funds to the bank, and the SBA is the ones who are going to forgive the loan after the period end date if you do everything you need to do with the funds. So you want to make sure you go to the SBA site, not the U.S. Treasury. So like I said, this is a program you're going to work through your commercial bank. And basically what the program allows for is if you take your 2019 payroll and you're going to take that entire payroll amount, you're going to divide it by 12, and you're going to get your average monthly payroll. And this program gives you 2.5 times that amount. You get 2 times on your payroll, and the half is for overhead like insurance, rent, and other overhead that the business may need. So it's a very interesting program. The key is that they don't want you to lay off your employees, have them go on unemployment, but they're going to have to pay them anyway. So here, if they can keep them employed through you and they're going to reimburse you for employing them, then everybody wins. So what you need to do is go to that SBA.gov site, download the application. It's a very simple 2-page application. And basically, it's going to help you fill out, it shows you how to fill out the application. You're going to have to provide some very specific payroll information from 2019. So if you work with a third-party payroll provider like ADP or Paychex, you should be able to have that information very easily at your fingertips to help you calculate what loan amount you might be eligible for. So for instance, if your payroll averaged $100,000 a month in 2019, you'll be able to get $250,000 in payroll relief. So it's a pretty exciting program. The real exciting part of it is that you're supposed to use 75% of those funds for payroll for this year, and 25% of the funds for overhead. And what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your bank at the end of the period, which is from February 15th to June 15th, and you're going to give evidence to your bank that you use those funds for the right appropriated expenses, which is again 75% payroll and 25% for overhead. And if you did that, then that loan will be forgiven by the SBA and you have no further obligation. The other interesting part of this loan is that there's no personal guarantees and there's no collateral taken by the SBA. So it's a very friendly loan to get from the SBA. So that's the basic information about it. But again, you can work through your bank and SBA.gov to get the application.
So Doug, a super helpful information. When are the applications due? Because do you know when they're going to start reviewing the applications? What's the process? Because when are they starting to accept applications? And what's the process to review them? And will they run out of money?
Wow, that's a lot of questions. So the application is available now, and I've actually received a couple applications from my clients already with their payroll documentation. But although the site says that they're going to be able to apply as of tomorrow, I understand that the SBA is not ready to provide loan numbers and some other things that they have to do. And it might not be till the middle of the next week that your bank will actually be able to make application for you. But it would be a good thing to get the application, complete it, provide the payroll paperwork to your banker, because we are actually going to look at that payroll information. We're going to go ahead and determine what we think your loan amount should be. You know, is it accurate on what you provided us? And if it is, then the bank is going to make the application through the SBA. So we expect that we will be able to do that sometime in the middle of next week. There'll be a quick loan document that the bank provides, which gives you the information on the loan. And then once you sign that, return it to the bank should be able to fund in your account in a few days after that process is all complete.
That's amazing. So if somebody has information, they can go to SBA.gov, go to the website. Is then Melissa and you, both of you, is there anything else? I mean, to our community members, you've been super helpful. I hope this information is useful to everybody out there. Melissa, is there anything else you want to add? Doug, is there anything else you want to add that we haven't covered?
Go ahead, Melissa.
Go ahead. You go ahead, please.
Well, I was just going to say that it's very important during the time of that period of February 15th to June 15th that you use the funds that are approved to get that forgiveness, because you're going to have to go to your bank with the documentation showing that you spent hopefully 75% of it on payroll and 25% of it on overhead. And if that's not the case, if for some reason you don't spend all that money that in that allocated way, whatever is not approved to be forgiven by the SBA will turn into an 18-month loan at 0.5% interest rate. So even if that happens, that's still a really attractive way to get some money in your pocket, because again, at 0.5%, I'm not going to loan that to you at 0.5%. So this is a great program.
I mean, the other issue is you don't know when you're getting, I mean, from February 15th to June 15th, most of us, you know, California wasn't on lockdown until March 15th. So business as usual. So it's more how fast they're going to get the money to know to rehire employees or get them going. Because I think with the unemployment claims, right, they've peaked. So it will help to get the funding so that they can rehire these employees. I know we had on a restaurant the other day, and their number one concern was to keep the employees employed. But certain restaurants are already starting to close down certain days, and they haven't had. It is what it is. They don't have enough funds to cover payroll. The payroll is normally the largest expense, right, for a lot of companies.
And luckily, this program is based on 2019 payroll, which, you know, we're assuming most businesses were fully employed all last year. So again, you take your January to December payroll, and there are the things that go in there like insurance and possibly the 401k contributions may qualify. That's still kind of a slippery slope. But again, we're using 2019 payroll, not 2020 payroll. So if you've laid off employees, it's based off last year's amount.
Also, just to add in there, for some business owners, I've found that there is an alternative calculation. So there is some confusion for business owners who might take it as a draw. They maybe have a few employees and they were on payroll, but themselves, they were not on payroll as individuals. They were taking it as a draw. There is an alternative calculation that the SBA is saying. They haven't outlined those or put out those guidelines just yet, but I would encourage just everybody to apply for it. The worst thing that can happen is it's denied. But if you're in that category or if you're a new business, apply for it.
So obviously, information is changing every day. Mm-hmm. A lot of confusion out there, both for individuals and small companies. So having individuals like you, both of you, to be, you know, in your fields and to have people to be able to come to both of you, super helpful. And I know I don't want to overwhelm either one of you with a lot of calls. So hopefully everyone can contact their own bank and their own investment advisor and get that information. But, you know, both Melissa and Doug, super helpful information that I know our community is, you know, really just chomping at the bit to hear. So thank you both for being here today and taking your time away. And really appreciate the knowledge that you've been able to share. And any last words?
No, I don't think so.
Hoping everybody stays in business and keeps their people employed, and we stay safe and get out of this and we get roaring again.
Absolutely.
We will get through this because all of us have been through this before, have been through cycles, and we will get through this and we will be business roaring. It's just how fast can we get through this? So you're right. All right, both of you stay healthy, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you again for your time today, and we'll be in touch. Bye.
Take care. Bye.